Call your sponsor.
Call you sponsor. Call you sponsor.
Call your
Sponsor. Call you.
Bitch, call your sponsor.
Call your sponsor. Call your sponsor.
And about 5 minutes later, I did do it. And I said, thank you. And I said, this is my stuff. And I said, please let this work out in a way that's best for everyone involved. And I just let go. And it got worked out a few days later. And, you know, everything was okay. Okay. Guess what happened? It happened again 2 days later. Again, the exact same thing chased me into another mistake. And because it's computers. And I was like, oh, I can surrender on the first time, but you guys want me to surrender again? No. It's that kind of thing where it's like, oh, I was spiritual and let go and turned it over the first time. But again, no. Oh, no. Now I'm really a victim, you know? And there's no other choice. Like, I've had to surrender again. And the stakes are bigger and the consequences are bigger. And I just get the opportunity to go, I'm powerless. And let this work out in a way that's best for everyone involved.
Oh, gosh. So I thank you so much for sharing that. I always get so much. And I love how you brought the Tumblr back into this episode. I'm interested to know your thoughts and your experience, both really, because about this idea that I don't see a higher power as the Wizard of Oz pulling all the strings and rating my landing and all of that. You know, I don't see that as higher power.
Same.
/ universe. However, I have been really exploring this thought lately of the universe just continuing on with this discussion of my stuff, right? The universe continues to show me and to mold me in a way for me to heal and expand. So is that similar to how you are? And then I guess, I don't know. I'm trying to think of what are these interestings that have now reached another place where they're no longer as they're no longer triggered. Has that happened for you? Because I can't necessarily. I mean, I know that things have been diminished, but not fully eradicated.
Yeah, so I don't think they ever go away. And if they do, that's when it's RIP, you know? I'm here to grow and I'm calling these things to me. So more than a higher power pulling the strings and going, here, let's give you this. I'm saying I came here to experience loving myself unconditionally. And here's the things that are standing in the way, that I perceive to be standing in the way. So let me call experiences to me that offer, you know, an opportunity for me to continue to love myself unconditionally. And so if it's, I'm not worthy of making a living and having things, and that's only for other people, then I'm going to keep having opportunities where I get the short side of the stick.
This is really deep.
It is, right?
It's really deep because, like, what I'm hearing and I also had this experience is what I believe I create.
Yes. But you know, more than that, it's like on such a subconscious level.
Yeah.
So, you know, what I believe I create is a way to beat ourselves up. And it's another way to get stuck in the shame. It's about last week where you can get stuck in the, why is this happening? Why is this happening? Why is it, instead of moving forward?
Yeah.
So it's like, I like to just say thank you. In that way, we're not pointing fingers, we're not doing blame. It's like somewhere on some level, in some place, I called this to me. Thank you for this opportunity.
Okay,
Good
got it.
and bad.
Yeah. So I guess what I will close out with is that the end of my theater experience. I was so like the thing that I identified in myself as far as these character interestings in progress was that I was able to be there fully for the film. Although during and I go figure, I didn't miss any of the things that I thought I was going to miss. So I saw every single coming attraction, which I thought then was too long, right? There are too many coming attractions. And I did during that point say, oh, I'm just too flustered. I should get a refund. That thought crossed my mind and I thought, I'm here, just enjoy. So I enjoyed the film. And then when I left, what I shared with the woman at the concessions was still there. And I said, you did not get me at my best. And I just want to acknowledge that I was a little out of sorts coming in, and you definitely did not deserve that from me. And so for me, that was like the promptly admit, and also that like, and it wasn't like this rehearsed thing. It was like, oh yeah, I was not in my best space, kind of type thing. And so she thanked me and she asked how the movie was, to which I said,
Aww.
and that was the thing is I guess for me, the progress is that the response time is different, right? Like this for me in the past would have lingered. Pour me a drink. Can you believe I would have incessantly talked about this to everybody that day,
Right.
And I'm bringing it up here because I think it could be useful. And I think I brought it up in one other conversation I was having because I thought it would be useful as an example of, but it wasn't this like building of Teen Sam, which I love to do, the case file.
I mean, to me, that's my favorite part. That's the most beautiful thing when you go to another human being and you go, hey, you didn't get me at my best self. And they go, how was the movie? It's okay. I'm going to tell you my favorite story that I like to tell whenever I meet. That this guy was talking about, he was driving to CVS with his two daughters, like 8 and 10 years old, in the car in the back seat, right? And as he's driving, there's a turn signal. It's green. The woman in front of him doesn't go. So he honks at her, like, to go. And, she gives him the finger, and then he honks at her again and yells something out the window. And the girls are like, Dad, stop, And of course, they both drive into the CVS parking lot. And she says something rude to him and he says something rude to her. And then they all go in, and get whatever they need. Well, as they're coming out, they come out at the same time. The girls are in the back seat. The dad's driving. He pulls up to this woman. She rolls down her window and he says, and the girls are in the back like, no, Daddy, no. And he says, I was wrong to speak to you like that, and I regret if I harmed you. And the woman turns to him and says, it takes a very big man to admit when he's wrong. And he says, my girls learned more about what it's like to be a human on that day than if I'd never honked at the woman in the first place.
Ugh. Oh.
And that to me is 6 and 7. And that's why they're character interestings. And that's why it says, take all of me, the good and the bad. It's not that I'm not supposed to honk. I can honk. I can love myself. It's that when I do honk, I go over and I clean up my side of the street, and I give everybody the opportunity to see a human, to be a human, to love a human.
Oh, I love that so much because I like to think that when it says, we weren't rendered white as snow, like it's not about
Yes.
perfectionism. It's about
Yes.
being human.
Yes. Yes. I feel like everybody misses that.
Yeah. Oh my God. I love that story. We're coming up on our final five. And I had a question.
Oh, good. Good, good, good.
What is an area? Just double checking how I'm phrasing this. Well, anyway, it might come out weird, but you can just self-correct. What is an area in your life that that you are healing? Wait, that the universe is inviting to heal that you are not ready to heal?
Well, it would be the finances. And this was a question that Lila R said, which is, what have you got in the way? That when you get to this place and you see the fork in the road and you're willing to surrender, but you're like, what have I got in the way? Not what is God putting in my way? What is other people doing? What have I got in the way? And when I ask myself this question, it's about worthiness. And it really feels like I'm not allowed to be worthy. And it's not even like, when I see it for other people, it's so easy for me to think in my head, like, okay, well, let that go. But when I see it for me, it's just like, yeah, that's not even an option. Like, it feels so fundamental. It feels concrete. And imagining letting that go is like, that's not even allowed. You're not allowed. So that's my work. How about you?
Wow. It all boils down to me for worthiness, lovability, like at least it's my experience as well. I think of, romance finance. It's in the romance sector for me right now, where it's like, what are these patterns of behavior that no longer serve, that isn't at my core truly of what I want, in partnership, I do want somebody that is fully available, in all aspects, physically, mentally, spiritually, emotionally. And there is a certain level of magnetism around people that are unavailable, which is actually what I know, and that cycle, I know that there has been progress over the years, and that vibration for me is sometimes really, really difficult to break.
Right. Are you available?
Well, it's funny that you ask. That's ultimately the mirror, for me, is like, where am I withholding? Where am I not being vulnerable? Where am I still unavailable, right? To your point with the Lila thing is, where am I getting in my own way?
Right. Well, there was this girl in a meeting today. She said, I don't trust these other people. I'm realizing I don't trust these other people. I don't trust these people at work. I don't trust my relationship. And the whole time I'm thinking in my head, like, well, you don't ultimately trust yourself. Like,
Bingo.
I'm so brilliant, right? And then she keeps talking. She goes, and the truth is, I don't trust. God, I felt like it was like Sherlock Holmes. By God, she's got it. It was so cool when we get that. And of course, I can see it for other people. But
yeah. Thank you, Misty.
Thank you. Such good stuff. I'll see you on the next one. And call your sponsor.
Call your sponsor.
Bitch, call your sponsor.
Call your sponsor. Call your sponsor.
New episode tomorrow. Send us an email, bcysponsor@gmail.com.